Good morning. So what I'm going to do today for 6.5 day 3 is I'm only going to walk you through 3 different examples, and I picked out ones that I thought were a little bit different than the ones that are also on this page. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stress that with this section, it's important to know that we're multiplying. So when you see 2 things in parentheses here, we're going to take these parentheses and we are going to be multiplying them together. And the way we do that is we set up our box and we have 2 root 3 on the top and a positive 3 root 5 next to it, because this is one set of parentheses. So this set of parentheses goes on the top up here, and then this set of parentheses is going to go on the side. So I have a 3 from here and then negative root 3 on the side over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this number and multiply it by this term up here. 3 times 2 is 6, and I'm left with a root 3. So if there's no square root here, then I don't have to do anything with that square root. It just stays the same. Same with this. 3 times 3 is 9, and root 5 stays the same because there's no root 5 here. Then, looking over here, I have a 2, and remember there's that invisible 1 here. So 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, and then I have the square root of 3 times the square root of 3. So we're going to do 3 times 3, which equals 9. So if you don't want to write out extra steps, that's okay. You can leave it like that. I'm just going to, just for the sake of space. And then I'm going to move to the next one. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And then I have root 3 times root 5. All right. So I have 6 root 3. And then I have a minus 2 root 9. And then I have 9 root 5. And then I have a minus 3 root 15. So then what I can do is I can simplify if I can. So here, since that's the same thing as 3 times 3, those 2 numbers are going to move to the outside. So now I have 6 root 3, and then 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, and that square root goes away because the square root of 9 is 3, and 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. And over here, I have plus 9 root 5 minus 3 root negative 3 root square root 15. So that would be our final answer, and it doesn't matter what order they're in. So there you have it. There's our first example. Looking at the third one, we're going to draw another box. I'm going to draw a little bit bigger so we can show some extra work inside the box. All right. So I have root 2 plus root 10. That comes from here. And then this second set of parentheses goes over here. So I have root 2 and minus root 10. And then if I have square root of 2 times square root of 2, 2 numbers that are the same, they cancel each other out, move to the outside. So that equals 2. Here I have root 2 times root 10. 2 is done. And then 2 and 5. And then my 2 numbers that are the same is 2 times 2 times 5. 2 numbers that are the same are my 2's. So I'm going to circle those, cancel them out, and move to the outside. So that gives me 2 root 5. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my next set. And we've got that invisible 1 over here. So I've got -1 times +1, which gives me a -1. And then I have root 10 times 2. 2 is done. 10 breaks up into 5 and 2. So then we've got the square root of 5 times 2 times 2. Two numbers that are the same. Cancel out and move to the front. And you're left with 2 root 5. And then here, -1 times +1 gives us a -1 square root 10 times 10. And then two numbers that are the same. Cancel out, move to the outside, and we multiply. 10 times -1 equals -10. So now I have a 2, and I have a positive 2 root 5. So I'm going to write plus 2 root 5. I have another 2 root 5, so plus 2 root 5. And I have a -10. So now I can add these two. 2 and 2 gives me 4. This 2 stays the same. This turns into a 4. And we've got root 5, so when the base is the same, when you're adding, it stays the same. And then we have -10. There you have it. There is our final answer, I believe. Let's see. -10. Oh, wait, no. I can... One's a positive and one's a negative. This one, oh, this one should be a negative. My bad. So this should be a minus. Always good to double check your work. So actually, positive 2 root 5, negative 2 root 5 actually cancel out. So let's get rid of that. That cancels out. And then I have 2 minus 10 equals -8. There's my final answer. All right, moving to number 5. Whenever you have a set of parentheses raised to the second power, that means you just write that set of parentheses twice. So I have root 3 plus 4 root 7, root 3 plus 4 root 7, and then I just draw my box. I'm going to leave enough space to show what, just like how I did over here. Okay, then drop that. This is my first set of parentheses, so I'm going to put it up here. It doesn't matter if you put it on the top or on the side first, but each term goes in each box. So I've got plus 4 root 7, and then these guys are going to go off to the side, so I've got root 3, and then plus 4 root 7. Okay, now I just multiply, and I've got the square root of 3 times 3, which gives me the square root of 9, or you could do it like this. Two numbers that are the same, cancel out, and move to the outside, and it reduces to 3. Over here, we've got an invisible 1 here, and then 4 times 1 is 4, and under the square root, 3 times 7 is 21. I'm going to leave it like this because maybe one of these guys will be doing the same thing here. Let's see. And then I've got 4 times 4 root 7 times root 3. So 4 times that invisible 1 gives me 4 And then 7 times 3, that gives me 21 again. And then over here, I've got 4 times 4, 4 times 4 is 16. Square root 7 times 7. Two numbers that are the same cancel out and bump to the outside. So we've got 7 times 16 here. And when we multiply 7 times 16, we get a big old number. Let's see. We get 112. Okay. So then what we can do is just combine our like terms. So I have 3 plus 4 root 21 plus another 4 root 21 plus 112. I can combine my two numbers here and I get 115 plus, let's see, 4 and 4 gives me 8. And when the base is the same, it stays the same. There you have it. There is example number 5. Again, I decided to cut down the number of examples that I do because, you know, maybe we don't really need it, or I'm just picking out the most important ones. Hope this makes sense. If you have questions, feel free to email or contact us on Google Classroom. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.